I'm going to do an example problem and show you how easy it is to graph an equation in Pear Deck. So the first thing that I kind of want to do, I'm going to try to see how thick this line is. It is pretty thick, so what I'm going to do is undo that. I'm going to go to this sizer over here. This makes it very thick, or it can make it very thin. Bring it down here. That would make it much easier. So there are two equations here. Y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3 and y equals x minus 3 times x plus 1. So this was factored. So these two are the same graph. So there's really good information here that I'm going to use for both of these. The solutions to this second problem are x equals 3 and x equals -1. Because when I put in a 3 and I put in a -1, both of those answers are going to get me 0. So let me just undo that right there. So this means I know that there's going to be a point at 3 and a point at -1. There's another bit of information that I know, and that's this -3. When I put in the value 0 for x and 0 for y, 0 squared is 0, so that cancels out. And -2 times 0 is 0, so that cancels out. So when x equals 0, y equals -3. So I know that this point exists on my graph. Let me just undo all of this. So -3. And I want to put this point on there, 0, -3. That point will go right here. Now there's something really special about parabolas. They are symmetrical, meaning they're the same on one side as the other. So the axis of symmetry will be in the middle of every 2 points. So if I know that these 2 points are 4 units away, that means the axis of symmetry is going to be in the middle of these. So the axis of symmetry is right there. Another thing that I can do is that I notice that this point is 1 unit away from the axis of symmetry, which means on the other side it will be 1 unit away as well. Now, how do I find the vertex? The vertex is the maximum or minimum. What I'm going to guess is that the vertex is going to be around this area because the parabola looks like it's going down and then hits the axis of symmetry and then goes back up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in this value for x. X is equal to 1 into my equation. Y equals 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. That gets me y equals 1 minus 2 minus 3. And this simplifies to -5. So when x is equal to -1, I'm going to get a -5 for my answer, which means the vertex is going to be right here. Now I'm going to sketch out this graph. as best as I can. It does not need to be perfect, but I know my parabola is going to be symmetrical. And look something like this.